Holy moly. Now my
What?
mouse isn't showing on screen. This
Dog?
is
What's
by far
happening?
the worst thing that has ever happened to start off a stream.
I blame Bob entirely.
I
Yeah.
would too, honestly.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Okay, it seems like I have most things fixed now. But yeah, I got a new, so it's Trigger Fire is the new one, and it allows me to use as many channel point rewards things as I want. So now I have like a few extra rewards in. Like I'm able to put literally Palpatine saying ironic, which is quite nice for me. But yeah, so that's new.
Yeah, that's a good place to leave this screen.
Connor, feet
No.
pics.
Oh,
It's a lot of points, and I promise you, it's
Whoa.
totally feed picks.
so many points.
There you go. That's it. That's just it.
I hate this community.
Alright, I need to just change the camera or the counters real quick and then we can get started. I can't see my mouse still. I'm actually gonna lose it. This is so weird, dude. I don't even know what bug causes that.
What's your stream delay?
None. Why?
We still haven't fixed our names, man.
Yeah, I think it's good now though.
Okay.
Yeah, see, now we're good. You think I'm gonna be allowed to see my mouse today? I feel like the answer is no.
I don't know.
Alright, I'm probably not going to get to, and that's fine. So, we're going to go ahead and begin then. It's going to be as scuffed as ever, and that's, just how it's going to be. So, first question again. I'm going to give you guys a series of questions, each one going down basically from left to right of the cameras, or of the counters, and then afterwards it's by who has the least amount of points goes first, because we're assuming that you'll be able to get to the hot takes first. So I'll go down each question. I'll give you tallies for each round. You can see the points that I'm giving you. Again, really, like I don't have a counter or like a timer or anything. So I would really suggest like keeping your own like 30 to 45 seconds. Once you hit 30 seconds, make your last point. Be done with it. And
Okay.
after a certain point, I just won't give you any points or anything.
Pog.
Yeah, that's just going to be it. So first question, it looks like from left to right, I have Killjoy first.
Fuck.
So you're... You get started off strong. I'm not gonna go in order of the questions because I want to get started with a spicy one.
I'm not prepared.
So should something be done about multiple casters covering the same game, especially on nights where there's multiple games? Killjoy, you are first.
The answer is no. What they really need is better resources. I think if people want to cast games, they should totally be free to do that. Like if someone gets more viewers, it's because they bring something special to the table. So what casters need is they need more resources to help them get better, more resources to help make their stream more entertaining, and as well as help for visibility. I think a lot of the issues come from visibility and resources. So like, for example, whenever Math streams, I see him post in 4 different Discords, and I'm like, huh, I should probably go see this. It's not a bad thing. It really isn't. Like, it's basic marketing and visibility. But, when someone posts an MD2L, and I have the channel muted, so do other people, I think that they can be doing better for visibility.
Okay. Next up, Sick Nasty. What do you think? Should they do something about casters covering the same game?
No. I think it just gives the other casters who aren't getting as many views an opportunity to learn why they're not getting as many. Take notes of the master.
Good.
That's
Just
it.
get
That's
good.
the
Just get better.
Just get good. That's your
Just
all right.
kidding.
Just get good.
You got some balls. I'll give you a few
Fair
points for
enough.
that one then. Bob, you're up next.
All right. So basically, if you have this one guy casting one game, and another guy wants to cast the same game, like this isn't like I know it's organized Dota, but like, come on, this is a low skill league. Like, if you want to cast someone's game, like you can cast their game. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I know you're entitled and all, and you click the button first and all, but like, just like grow up. Like, honestly, like it doesn't matter. If 2 people want to cast the same game, they can, and if you don't get as many views, then like, I don't know. Like that's your problem. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I got a good one
Yeah,
starting up.
Sam, you're last. There's been 1 point not covered, so it's all yours.
Okay. I think they should do something. Okay, because there's like 2 casters that have paid off the entire community to watch their shows, and I exposed this, but now I'm befriending him to try and get in there. Anyway, there's like 2 casters that everyone knows, and then there's a bunch of people that everyone hates that tries and casts, like Grapefruit having his entire viewership stolen by Snow just for Snow to shit on me the entire game. Okay, and then Grapefruit didn't even watch game 2, which is a little sus, but we're not gonna get into that. Okay. But
Keep going.
still, the main point I have to make is that these big monopolies on streaming services need to be broken down, and that is why I am wholeheartedly behind the movement #MathOut. Thank you.
That's a good start. Thank you. Round 1,
Agree.
Staples has taken the lead.
Can we get #MathOut in the
Hashtag
chat?
MathOut.
#MathOut in chat, please.
Math out.
All right, next one. I'll just go up then. So, I'm just gonna go from here. Does Plupo need a roster change? This has been one of the longest standing teams. We've all encouraged people staying together. We'd love to see the team coming back day in and day out. They've had 4 members that have stayed together the most of the way. They made a roster move this year. They came into the league, and we had a lot of high hopes for them. So, do they stay together? Does there need to be a little bit of a change before we get to the LAN? And first going up looks like it will be Tall Monkey.
Oh.
So when it comes to Plupo's team, I mean, they've had success in the past. Obviously, they won like one of the seasons, and since then they've kind of like just been like whatever, not doing too great. I really don't know if it's like them playing as a team so much as it is like each individual. Like I know Aragorn really doesn't play much Dota, and so when you're a super high MMR player, just like doesn't play at least ranked Dota, like I don't think that's setting you up for success. And they did make one roster change this season. They changed, was it Plastered, and got a different mid. But even now they've been changing roles, and so I don't necessarily think it's them like as a roster. It's more like individual, I think.
All right, next up, Joey. Same question. Does there need to be a roster change, or is this team good where it's at right now?
I'm so much better than Tim.
That is a base take if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Bob. I feel like it's a lot of inflated MMR that's not going to use with Aragorn. Like, I've played on teams with Aragorn, he's great. But he's kind of like Kerwa on my team, where he has the MMR, but I don't think practices at that level. So, do I think they can... I mean, they can roster shift if they want. Depends if they want to win or have fun.
That's true. That is a good point. Plupo's team is probably
If they
like the
each
only
other
ones
and
that
just want to like hang
Yeah.
out, play Treant, you know?
they're probably the only team that isn't
Then,
at each other's
keep doing
necks
it.
like each day. Like they actually get on and they're like, I am enjoying playing with these people. It's probably not common in a lot of teams right now.
My team's great. I love my team.
Yeah, okay. Forced to say that on screen. I see.
Mhm.
Killjoy up next.
love
There's
my
going to be a
women.
roster change. Where are we going?
Yeah, so I think it depends, like, really their direction. So if they're really just looking to have fun, like 5 people get together trying to play like a game in Dota, I don't think so. I mean, it seems like they're doing pretty okay, right? I mean, the more you try hard, the more things get intense, the more pressure there is, and then can what ruin friendships. And I think we've all been a part of even just like a normal Dota 2 5-stack, let alone maybe even some of us have been on a team of $50 for what? You know, or some things like that. But you know, but if they're really looking to try hard, then I think they really need to reevaluate. Like I think those 5 players in combination, like something is gonna be wrong. Like it's really just kind of seems like a shitty 4 protect 1, where the 1 can be extremely hit or miss. Like when you go against Webby or I tomorrow. So.
Can you give me an example of someone tilting out of a 5 unranked stack? Something like
Yeah, so for example, there's this guy who has hit Immortal recently, and all he does is like play Mirana and Earth Spirit, and occasionally, you know, you'll get in a 5-stack with like Math and like some really nice, you know, good friends. You're really looking nice for a good game of Dota 2, like. And then he DCs in the pick screen. The offlaner is supposed to pick to first face Timber, and then he goes to the lane, and the Mirana's just sitting there memeing, walking in between the offlane and the mid lane. And this is the stack Immortal player, by the way. And
Or his starting items.
And
This guy
occasionally
sounds pretty cool.
sometimes, yeah, and sometimes you just want to play a fucking game of Dota 2, and you can't do it when you're dead, so you have to buy back to play the game.
I mean, that 4-step was trying to help you. It's not my fault that you died. That's all I gotta say.
That's good. That's good. All right. last
Is
one
it
up.
my turn?
Staples, you
God.
are up.
What's the
roster,
question again?
roster change or not?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I was on this. I can say this because I won these guys the tournament when they won, so I can shit talk them all I want. Yeah, no, they need to switch. When we won, like the reason our team was so good was we had like very MMR efficient players and we were very versatile. But like the league has gotten a lot better than it was then, and they just haven't scaled with the league. And I'm just gonna quickly run through the players here that are on the team. Aragorn, way overinflated MMR dog player, literally can't play PL at all. Who's their POS 5? PP Poo Poo? Greatest player ever. Much better than Joey. Honestly, the best POS 5 I've ever played with. One of the greatest witch doctors of all time, probably the best. His tree is unbeatable. You actually can't beat it. Who's their pause 3? It's like fucking Plupo or the fucking Ben. Neither of them are good. They're both fucking shit. Honestly, Ben, like, the only reason people like him is because, like, he plays some fucking wacky-ass Ricky off-lane. Doesn't even win the game, just
Yeah, he
confuses
copied
the
it from
fuck out
Tommy,
of-
I heard.
Literally, just confuses the fuck out of everyone, and that's, like, his strength. Plupo doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He plays Lion all the time, but, he can barely even hit a stun on people. I don't know what the fuck's happening. And then sometimes they put Plupo mid, and then he like just fucking feeds on Ember. I don't know. Who's the fuck is there fifth? Vex or whatever? I don't know. Who cares? Because they're bad. Like exactly. The team is just like so fucking dog that like they needed a roster change the second they lost their god tier mid laner when the season after they won. And they decided to stay together because they were like, oh, we don't need Staples, we could make a team without him. Yeah, that worked out well. And everyone just like fucking says shit like, well, they get results every season. Do they get money? If not, then those aren't results. Fuck you. 4th place isn't good enough.
Staples, what place did you get last season? Just for
I don't want to
reference.
talk about it.
Okay, that's it. Moving on to the next question. By the way, B. Shelley with a very good point. Also, Staples toxic. This is why he was kicked. Was not mutual, by the way. So
Not a chance.
not a chance.
See you week 3.
All right. Well, then we're going on with the roster change topic. Has there been too many already this season? And should roster changes be limited per registered team? So if you join up, maybe you only get 2 or 3 roster changes per season. And then once you make your 3rd, you're locked in. So first one up here. Looks like, it's a hard day. Monkey, you're first again. Should roster
Alright,
changes be
so-
limited?
Okay, well, first of all, there's a roster lock for a reason, as in, like, once you get to this point, like, you can't change anymore, And so I understand, like, first couple weeks, you get glimpsed back to Fountain, you break your keyboard, and you leave the team. Like, that happens. Or, like, maybe you don't like B-God, and you're like, oh, I like this guy. And then you just trade players, So, like, there are rules here for a reason. And if D-Rose wants to go to every team in MD2L, he can. I'm not going to stop him. But, like, nothing needs to change. And if someone has a problem with it, then, I just think they have a problem. Like, that's on them.
You know what team I think could really use the Droids right now? Team Webby. Team Webby could really use Droids on their team. Up next, Sick Nasty. Have there been too many roster changes so far in MD2L? Should they be limited?
No, not enough. I want to see more. I want to see more spice. More variety. And if you're roster shuffling, whatever, then it's because you're losing. It's free wins for everybody else. It's great. Nobody shuffles because they're winning.
That's true. All right, next, Killjoy. Same question. Are roster changes too many right now in MD12? Should they be limited?
I don't think so. Actually, I think you actually no. yeah, 100%. I think it's like I think they should be limited, but they should be allowed. right? So it's like sometimes you get these 5 players together. There's no way you're gonna know your team's true colors, like just from like a few weeks of scrimming and like one official. There's like absolutely no way. You're gonna find out things about teammates and the way you guys play, like throughout officials, especially after you lose series that you theoretically should have won. And of course, like for some players, there's unavoidable situations. Like I heard that like Gerodes was actually going to military camp or something. Like there's unavoidable situations, and I think that this is a very slippery road. But you really have to set like a base case, a base scenario for when you're allowed to actually do a roster shuffle, and they have to be within a set of limits. But there are some scenarios where you have to go by case basis, like due to like personal reasons or unavoidable situations. Because at the end of the day, this is a league. It's somewhat for fun. There is a prize pool, but like we're not the DPC, right? Like we're looking for really high turnout, really good Dota, and a really good community. And it's really hard to build all of that if you start implementing really strict rules, because then your turnout's going to get lower. People are going to start to become unsatisfied, and then it all just kind of falls like that.
All right, last one up then. Mr. Staples Science. Too many roster changes? Do they need to be limited?
Honestly, Kyle Killjoy Dota is thinking, too smart about this. You got to get the base takes in there a little bit. I think there should be no restrictions on roster changes until tournament. Okay, I've been on a couple of teams that I wish we could have changed roster mid-season, because the first week or so you perform, and then the third week or fourth week your carry player decides that he's gonna not want to win, and then your mid laner is gonna get all angry, and then you're gonna get angry at your mid laner, and then their safe laner, and then you end up swapping positions. So you, as the pause 4 player that promised that he would never play mid again, ends up going mid to make room for your team that has just fallen apart over the past couple of weeks because they lose one game and decide that everyone on the team is shit. So I think, personally, that you should be able to kick anyone from your team at any point as long as it's not on tournament day. I think that's very important. Not a chance.
There's a really important point that I want to revisit here. You said that your pause forward sometimes get mad at your mid laner. How does that work if you're both people on that team, Staples?
Well, you see, Matt, I like to hold myself to a fairly high standard, and when I don't perform, my personality actually splits from my pause 4 self and my mid self, and they like to fight each other a bunch. My pause 4 self is just like, why is my mid always losing mid? Why is he buybacking on Wind Ranger when he doesn't have a TP to get into the fight? And then my mid's like, oh, what are you doing on any hero that isn't Earth Spirit? What are you doing? You picking Mirana, your Forest Staff, and your Timber when he's ruptured? What are you doing? And then they just start having a big fight, and then eventually turn sexual, and then they just start hate fucking.
But not on tournament day. Okay.
Yeah, no, anytime before tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, next
question. So are teams over there with players over the camp, such as Aaron, still balanced after watching the week 1 performances? So I'm going to go back to my points here.
Yeah,
Tall Monkey.
Recap on how they actually did.
Hmm?
Can we have a quick recap on how they actually did?
I don't even remember which ones they were, but let's find out.
They 2-0'd. I have it up.
They all 2-0'd? Holy moly, Staples! All right, you'll get 5 points if you tell me which ones had a adjusted player on it, and which ones 2-0'd.
Aaron 2-0'd. He's an adjusted player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also this other team that was adjusted.
Acid Rain is 0-4.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So they're not all 2-0s.
That's what I said.
All right, you're not even now, buddy.
Oh. My bad. I thought you were only talking about Aaron.
No, I said such as Aaron.
Well, I didn't read the such. English is not my first language, even though it is. So.
Okay, that's fair. Well, then first up, Tall Monkey. Are those teams too overpowered?
Not at all. I would probably argue the opposite. I think it's kind of like you have like all these you have like big leader monkey, and he can be your big like MMR. But then like you have like all these small monkey, you have these small brain monkeys, and they're running around doing a bunch of things. And if your big monkey isn't able to lead the small monkeys and direct everything they do, then like it's not really gonna work. And if your high MMR player is at like 5 and it's much easier of a role to direct, you can. But all these high MMR, like Tree Hard, he has to play mid and everything. Like there's very few teams where the high MMR is the support and can lead when you have like these significantly higher players. They're playing core though, and so they have to worry about hitting creeps. And so like they might get big, but then like the other competent players on the other team are just gonna kill your small brain monkeys, and then you're just gonna be screwed. Like you're just gonna have no game. So I think if you have like the super like not inflated, but super like adjusted players, I think like probably most of them, if not all of them, will not like perform that well.
Can I ask a question to Bob?
Yes.
He mentioned you know, how it can work if their high MMR player is their support. I just wanted to ask him why he would think that after a team such as KBK's with their 6K player being their support player getting beat in 16 minutes. How do you respond to that?
I didn't say exactly what you said. I said
Bob,
it
why did
could
you say
work.
exactly
I said
what I
they
said?
can direct if they're at 5. I didn't say it would work or they would win. I said they could direct them. Now, of
Yes,
course,
well,
it's not going to work either. Like, I'm
he's
just
at
saying
5.
it's not going to work. It's just
Then
not
why would
gonna work.
you make such a statement?
Why? Damn.
Anyway, go on, Bob.
All right, next up, Sick Nasty. Are these teams too overpowered? Or are they doing okay?
Absolutely not, for the same reason Bob gave. If you give the most amount of Dota knowledge to the player who's the least active in the first like 30 minutes of the game, then you're just gonna have 4 little dumb monkeys running around doing their thing, and the guy who only needs to hit creeps and think about nothing else is just gonna do that, and the little 4 monkeys are gonna get lost and run off a cliff.
Yeah, this is exactly
And
what
I
happened.
think it
to
depends
Legacy
on the
last season.
person. You know, if you have the ability to hit creeps and, you know, direct your team at the same time, then it could work. But that's just not the case for every team. I mean, every adjusted player is not that kind of person. They're not as high as they are because they're good at everything. They're as high as they are because they probably got good at 1 or 2 things.
Okay.
So it makes it a little too hard to direct a whole team. So I think if you just average out the MMR, you have somewhat of a better chance.
Okay. Killjoy, I'm next. These teams too powerful.
No, speaking from someone who's been to the grand finals himself, with the 2 highest MMRs in the pause 4 and pause 1 role. I'll take a drink. But what really essentially, like, I really think that Bob and Joey here are hitting both the a lot of the key points, right? So like you have this really high MMR core player, they can click buttons, they can kill people, but like the other 4 monkeys can't do shit. Like it's really important when you're making a team that there has to be, number 1, there has to be cohesion, there's got to be teamwork. Number 2, there has to be a lot of like decent knowledge, and number 3, there's got to be at least 2 to 3 shot callers. You cannot survive off of 1 mediocre shot caller and 1 high MMR core. There's absolutely no way. I think if you look like right now, the teams that are doing really well, and even like in terms of like last season, all the teams that were performing really well, they had, and you're gonna even start to see the trend now as people start building teams. They're realizing that having a high MMR or incredibly value pause, you need a high MMR pause 4 and 5, and you need a value of the other one, right? You need someone who can shot call. You need someone who can direct the game. Because a lot of the times, like as I think it was Jazzwald said, this worked for us when we had Off God. Right, 4 protect 1s can work. But when you have a team who's more competent and are able to play around that and make really good calls, it's really easy to shut down your high MMR player. Like there's a lot of like decently easy to execute plays that require literally just a little bit of coordination to be able to dominate that. Right, so it all revolves around being this team that has a really like decent MMR distribution that I think what we're starting to see now.
Okay. And last but not least, Staple Science.
Okay.
Teams
So
overpowered.
I don't know. I originally thought I originally thought that no, they weren't overpowered, but I've been told by someone, I'll get into it in a bit, that it actually is overpowered. Originally, from my experience, having played a 5 stack recently with people that were a lot lower MMR than me, and it not working out, even though I owned that game, had like 8 kills and everything. We still didn't win. So I thought, based on that was how these teams were going to go. But if I go back to my DMs here, I was told by Xeriscape, the Shadow Dragon, that this is just completely false, and that people like Sunny God solo carried the other 4 players on the team, and when they won, if you recall that. Yeah, no, I've been told by players that are much better than me and that are actually known in these leagues that I'm just completely wrong, and I don't have an opinion because I'm low MMR. So yeah, I would say that these teams are too overpowered, and we've seen it work in Sunny God, and it's going to work with Aaron, and he's going to go to the grand finals, and he's going to win it all, and he's going to tell me that I should have bought Tranquil Boots on Clockwork before Stick. Thank
Okay.
you.
I only have one other question for you, Staples.
Yes.
Why is this Divine Tim talking on my podcast? Answer.
Why
That's what I thought. Next question?
Why is that immortal chimp not at the grand finals? I don't know.
Last question then, since we do have someone who doesn't put any draft together before about 10 minutes before this game. So, what is the answer to sandbagging in amateur leagues? And first up is Sick Nasty. What do you think?
The
What's the
least
answer?
sandbagged player.
Allow it. Allow it. There is no answer. You can't stop it. There's too many people to look at. And you can't tell if they're trying new things or, trying to do the wrong thing on purpose. I've seen some people go into games and, 10, 20 games in a row, random position 4, just to get, just to have a better time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you can really do a whole lot about it.
All right. Next up, Twa Monkey. What's the answer to sandbagging
So-
in amateur leagues?
I don't think there's a foolproof method, but I do think what you can do is you set the sign up dates. You have the sign up dates, but you have a gap between the end of date and actually when the season starts. You make it substantial time. You make it a substantial amount of time between the end of signups and when the season starts. And what the other thing you can do is you have multiple MMR checks. You could have one maybe every 2 weeks or something between that end date and when the season actually starts, so that people can't just, we signed up, okay, time to go win back my 500 MMR. I feel like that would be at least one way to somewhat stop the people from just ruining 82L. One of them might be in here right now. Honestly, if you would ever do that, honestly, it was Jared Cobbert too. I'm just gonna say it. And honestly, they should be ashamed of themselves. Truly ashamed. I'm just kidding. We hate 82L. Get out of here. I'm just kidding. Go on.
That's
All right,
good. That's
all.
good. Yeah, everyone knows the infamous, hey, signups are in, you guys can play ranked again. That is a very common phrase in a lot of team discords. Next one up, Mr. Killjoy, Dota 2. What's the answer to sandbagging in amateur leagues?
There's got to be some sort of... So if sandbagging becomes an actual problem... So speaking as someone who technically signed up with a sandbagged MMR that was 900 lower than his MMR 3 weeks before... this is technically a problem, but it's a really tricky system to implement. And what you have to do is you need, number one, you need the admin and moderator base to support it, which currently MD2L doesn't. And then you also need a really big player base, which we're slowly getting towards, right? So I think the system ideally would be something around like MMR checks, and I don't think you can just use hard MMR Right? Because like for example, you can have someone like B Shilly who gets a boosted account to what was it, Divine, and now he's Ancient 2, right? But his actual MMR is probably closer around to like Archon 2 or some dumb shit, right? You know?
Oh, what the?
But anyways, right? So
What
But,
the fuck?
But anyways, right? So like there's got to be some balance of like either like you need like regular like 1 month or 2 month checkpoints of like everyone's MMR, and then you can do something either like keeping the cap and preserving that throughout the seasons of a registered player, right? Because we already have a system in place to detect Smurfs and alternate accounts, right? Or some sort of like a check mark. And you needed to do something like that, or there needs to be like a step function in place, right? So like either as soon as you hit divine, you are divine until you hit immortal, right? Or as like as soon as you hit like Herald, Guardian, Archon or whatever, you're around that same MMR block, right? It's a very tricky system, but if sandbagging does eventually become a huge problem, like for example, even in Aaron's scenario, right? Like he was like a 7.5k player, and now he's all the way down to 6.5k, and that's why his team was doing really well, correct? So this will eventually become a problem. But it is a little bit of a problem right now, but the more of it becomes an issue, like we need to start thinking about it pretty early on, or else it's going to make for a terrible season.
All right, last one up. Staple Science. Sandbag
Okay.
player's an issue.
Okay, so I have actual personal experience with sandbagging to get into a league just to win.
He didn't win.
He did not win.
Yeah.
We'll just say I won because we had a better team anyway, and we just kind of forfeited the series. But anyway, back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by a dog. I've actual experienced sandbagging for a league, and I can just tell you just how pathetic it is. Really, it is the most pathetic thing you can ever do. It is actually just so pathetic that it should be raised in awareness. And actually, I have a very good friend of mine that can help solve this solution. He goes by the name of Sleepy. Okay? Now, how we implement Sleepy into the system is anyone that we have any form of evidence finding out that they were sandbagging, he doxes all of their information, and at LAN, if they show up, beat the fuck out of them. If they don't show up, find out where they live, then beat the fuck out of them. Okay? Because sandbagging is just that pathetic that you can't let these pathetic people really go through the rest of their life. And I know it's a base take, but it's the only solution, or else all of these pathetic sandbaggers might actually just continue to wreak havoc on our AD2L and MD2L amateur Dota 2 leagues and so forth. Thank you. That is all.
I can't do this.
I'm gonna be checking some MMRs. I gotta check some MMRs on the sign-up sheets.
We are based.
We gotta get some restraining orders out on Sam if you're above this MMR from your sign-up. You gotta watch out. Putting that in production crew. All right. Well, at the end of it, Tall Monkey by 1 point. Congratulations on winning.
What the fuck?
you.
How? I
I'm
just
griefing
say all
for
of these
series on
base
Thursday.
takes, and
I
Bob
don't
is
know,
just
man.
like, oh, let's
too
make
base.
fun of Bob or Staples.
Hey,
oh, it's
just
so
because
funny.
you say things different doesn't make you cool.
No, that's exactly what my mom taught me.
Man, Staples at a young age is like, Mom, give me that cookie or I will tell everyone where you live. Okay? Do not test
Fuck
me.
up, Mom. Give me a cookie.
Give me a cookie or I eat you. I don't know.
Rip Grandma.
You know what?
Rip Grandma.
Rip Grandma.
Rip grandma. Hold on, I have a.
That's what happened.
By the way, before we end, Matt, can I do some advertising?
Yes,
No.
go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead, Sam.
perfect. Have you been lacking a place to put all of your funny memes? Have you been searching for funny memes but can't find anything new? Have you seen lots of copy pastas but you forgot where they're saved? Well, I have the place just for you. Welcome to the Staples Meme Database, where we hold all of the latest memes, copy pastas, funny pics, and Dota-related memeage that you can find over all of the amateur Dota 2 leagues, such as LADS, MD2L, AD2L, and RD2L. If you are wanting to join this service, all that is needed is to provide one meme through my DM. You need to contribute to the library database in order to join. And then you have access to all of the funny memes and pics and copy pastas that Amateur Dota 2 has to offer, including not safe for work memes, beware the ism type memes if you catch my drift, memes that fuck Bob, funny pics of math, funny meme videos that question your sexuality, and copy pastas, most of them made by yours truly. If you want to join, DM me a meme. Thank you. And make sure you don't post the Discord link in any Discords and or Twitch streams.
Why would you make it a public link?
I didn't. I thought it wasn't. To be honest.
Gosh.
Ah, sweet. Now I have access to all the memes.
No, it's gonna be overflowing.
All right.
Thank
Well, thank you
Staple
very much for that
Science.
staple science. It's probably the only thing you've written down all week. I'm very proud of you.
Yep.
And with that, we're going to be going anywhere else. I think I'm gonna try to. Actually, do I just watch some games for a while? This
No,
is
you
the
gotta-
question.
I have
Play
a game
with
you can
it.
watch.
We
No,
already
you guys,
covered
That's true.
math. We already covered other people casting. Come on.
Yeah, it's true. I'm
We
allowed to
already
do this.
covered it.
I had 3 people who told me that I'm allowed to do it, and
You're
Staples'
fine.
opinion. So
You're fine. You know.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. Do we? Oh, that looks good too. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and switch scenes then. That's it for the ward. Thank you all for watching. There will be no more hot takes. There will only be weird auto chess and then a cast in about a half hour.
Are we done?
We done here?
I mean,
Is this
yeah.
it?
Uh,
I mean, I'm not gonna end the stream, so you guys are just kind of here, but.